And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Roadwarden. Last time we left off, we went through quite the journey. We left the outpost in the south. In fact, I'll pull up the map for reference. We went into the outpost in the south, Tulia's camp, traveled north to the southern crossroads, and then went east. Followed that path until the north to the abandoned watchtower, then pushed on through the woods of the west, eventually arriving at the gate. I had another crossroads to decide, so I went south to Howler's Dell, which is a prosperous village of farmers and animal breeders, which, considering all the shit that we just went through, was worth it. So, we met with the mayor, and she asked what she can do for us. She's been more than kind and courteous, but we're also here for information. So first off, I'm looking for Asterion. She stares you in the eyes, then turns towards Rico. Monsieur Palfrey and Mare, we have 2 jacks. Could use some mules. It is, but I need it to stay strong and healthy. Right. There's no time for the romances of draught animals. It would take almost a year, correct? It was all just a thought. When her eyes return to you, they regain their sharpness. I'd rather avoid long talks about that man. Let him remain as a part of the past spring. Since you're asking about him, I can only assume he was indeed sharing his goal with you. I won't deny that. Yet you're already different from him. I like it when travelers don't try to sell me bluegrass. Seeing your frown, she waves it off. It's just the same. His words were stronger than his deeds, and he's no longer welcome here. And that's not good. What did you do wrong? If you have to know, he failed, and he won't get a second chance. He was meant to escort Agadia, a daughter of mine, to her betrothed in Gale Rocks. She was a great archeress, and the road from here to the coast is not that dangerous. When they saw goblins on the road, Asterion ordered her to push through, right into their trap. She touches her deer-shaped buckle. They got jumped like a bunch of wealthy pilgrims. A Roadwarden worth their rule should know better. He can fight with a blade, but my girl, she never had a chance. She sighs and looks at the gate. He disappeared soon after his pitiful attempt at apologizing to me, and we closed our doors behind him for good. I'll let you know if he ever tries to return. Oh, he sent out the daughter is bait. Sorry about that. I just wanted to turn the volume down just a tad. Did you ever find your daughter? For a few breaths, her green eyes seek something in your face. Her words are careful, yet hesitant. She's with the fogs now. The goblins were after food, so they carried her shell away. One day, she's going to charge at our walls, awoken and empty. Even though she was a bit mawkish, her heart was strong and patient. She listened to people, was ready to help them and to cry with them. I could tell you stories, but what for? Let the dead rest. Alright. Any idea where to begin an investigation? She adjusts her cape with an annoying shrug. Try asking for him in the north. He spent most of his time between white marshes, Gale Rocks, and creeks. Here, he wasn't that eager to share his plans. Okay, fair enough. I don't want to push. Why did you let him leave, though? He didn't do anything well, forbidden by our laws. He was simply stupid and cannot be trusted. But this isn't Halibut. We have no rich folk to dread. We treat each other fairly. Lost in her thoughts, she rubs the neckline of her dress. One good thing I can say about him is that he didn't try to justify his decisions or avoid the consequences. But I'd rather have him prove first he can do what's asked of him. Well, fair enough. And you have quite the big family. She titters weakly. At one point, there were 12 kids living in our house. Jesus fucking Christ. 9 girls, 3 boys. They come and go, as it should be. A few are already with the forest, but most are all grown now. Even started their own families. Excuse me, left to take a quick drink of my Gatorade. She looks away at a girl wiping spilled milk with a wet cloth. To be perfectly clear, we aren't exactly our children. It's a custom of our village for the mayor to look after the orphans. Thankfully, Eric's has a big heart and much more patience than I do. As she speaks, her smile widens. Well, thank you for your help. I wonder, back in Hullivan, have you spent any time on Backwood Corner? It used to be this dark, dirty alley with muggers, working even in daylight. I stayed there with Octavia, the miller, in exchange for doing chores for her. She had this small wooden hut. Oh, I can choose the fate of it. Interesting. You wouldn't recognize it. It's a respectable street, one of the fanciest inns in the city, the Apple and Boar. You describe how a family of Southerners started a large shipyard right next to the alley, working on exotic boats in unusual shapes. Needing hands to work, they offered food and coins to many local thugs, and with time, more light and stalls showed up in the alley. As you describe the new inn, Thaddeus burst into cheerful laughter. So it's the same family that ran the Boarhead Inn. And to think that I dared doubt the old lady's endurance. People like her, brave enough to bear the toll of the world, are going to bring salvation to us all. Tell me about Hallersdale. Yep, listen, I've already got a safe place. Here. I don't mind talking for a bit. It is what it seems like. The greatest village in the far north. She raises her hand and makes an inviting gesture, though I hope to still improve this and that. She winks at you, but is suddenly interrupted by the pained cry of a little boy, who hurt his knee during a fall. As an amused elder tries to calm him down, the mayor shrugs it off and titters, then meets your eyes again. Life's good here. We have what we need and a lot of what we want, building on top of more than 12 generations of hard work and bravery. She spends a few good minutes telling you about muffins, wheat, rye, hemp, cheese, and wool, proud of every glimpse of prosperity. Whenever she mentions artisan, shepherd, or farmer, she doesn't miss a chance to mention how significantly she improved their conditions. Interesting. She also omits some topics you heard no tales, songs, ancestors, rituals, or days of prayer. It's like listening to a tax collector. I kind of got that vibe in this. Only at the very end of her speech does she mention the wisdom of the elders, now kept in teachings of the druids who helped her guide those who trust her. They heal our wounds and our gardens, she explains, but then changes the topics to all the fruit, trees, hairs, and nuts growing in the woods. Alright. Tell me, how do people dress in the city these days? Is it similar to what we have here? Before the war, the merchants were wearing those really long dresses and robes. Way too long for my taste. They got mud stains after every rain. I see no reason to keep the shoes completely hidden. Well, not much anymore. There's always a shortage of fabric. Most people wear tunics like in the old days. At least we can hope that if the visitors arrive, we won't stand out much, she laughs, but also adjusts her dress, drawing your attention to its superb quality. And who knows, maybe our village here is going to help those unfortunate clothiers. I'm sure we could spare a couple of sheets of fabric. Alright, what's your secret to why this place is so pristine? It's almost too good to be true. She reaches for her buckle and her voice grows cold. There's no secret, traveler. There's hard work, risks, and sacrifices, and the support of those that care about me. The good things that happen to me shine on my people just as much. Think about it before you mention it again. She adjusts her cape. Alright, and the necromancers in the north, you heard anything? She taps her finger on the table. Yes, I have. After you ask her to tell you more, she seems to regain her confidence. You mean White Marshes, for sure. I don't know all that much about what's happening there. We avoid their lands if we can. She frowns. I shouldn't gossip about it with strangers. We can talk about it on another occasion. Okay. What would it take for you to consider joining Hullivan? Ah, I can consider it right now. While she laughs, her eyes remain keen. But if you want me to give you some answers, let's see. She looks up and to the right, theatrically raising her hand to her chin. Some gestures of goodwill would be a great start. Since you're the guild's messenger, I need to know that you can be relied on. She gives you a wide, white grin. And that's only the first step, I assume. Of course. Are you even empowered to handle tax negotiations? She scoffs loudly at your headshake. Do enough for my village, and I'll hand you a beautiful signed letter. A list of all the things my neighbors are looking for, as well as what they can give in return. Your superiors are going to see more than enough to prepare their offer. She rubs her hands. I think that's fair. Well, okay. So she wants me to prove myself in order for a signed letter saying, yeah, I'll join Halavan. I mean, this village is already pristine enough as it is. I don't see why not. Alright. Quick save. We're in agreement. Perfect. One more thing, though. She puts her elbows on the table, leaning close to you. If you go behind my back, I'm not going to wait for a dagger. I'll end you first. She rests her chin against her open palms, giving you a disarmingly warm smile. I'm sure people already know that we have a new Roadwarden. Maybe ask around if someone needs any help. The more my neighbors trust you and need you, the more willing they'll be to offer you better pay. Alright, let's start there. What can I do for you? Oh, so kind of you to ask. But before I ask you to run, let's see how you can walk, shall we? Her eyes wander left and right, and she gestures for a nearby guard to move away. He nods, and gestures at a few other souls to follow him. While a few of the local cast curious looks at you, they turn away as quickly as you notice them. The mayor's shiny green eyes are still locked on you, and her voice is close to a whisper. Since Astarion's disappearance, there's little trade on the roads. There's not much news reaches us. Be so kind. Her flirtatious tone distracts you with how obviously fake it is. And help me learn some interesting tales about our neighbors. You want me to spy for you? I smile back at her. You mean the ones that weren't meant to reach you. See, I knew deep down you're a true sage. She titters and straightens up, adjusting her cape without haste. Do you have something to share? The soldiers who came here in spring were meant to find a good spot for a new outpost. She smiles wildly. You don't say! Knowing that, I'll prepare a few very tempting suggestions for the officials. After she seals her lips, she still lets out a quiet chuckle. The squad that stays near the southern crossroads is now nothing more than 2 people. They plan to return to Halavan before fall. Since they've cleared that camp of brigands, they went so quiet I almost forgot about them. She rubs her chin with her thumb. I'm surprised they managed to stay alive till this day. Sending such an experienced group here shows that the officials misjudged this land. And that's all I have for right now. We talk and talk, but I still don't know where you're from, Galen. What's your story? Have you lived in Halavan your whole life? Only for a bit. I was raised in a small village just nearby and moved to the city after I decided to look for luck as a road warden. To see the city for the first time, after being surrounded by a couple small houses and fields, it's a strange feeling, isn't it? She puts her hand on the table. Even after my second winter, there I felt like a stranger. But those who know how to live in this countryside, close to the wilderness, we'll always find a new home for ourselves, don't you think? She gives you an encouraging smile. And you need my assistance. First, I need to be sure you can handle yourself. Bring me some juicy rumors, won't you? Maybe talk with my neighbors. We could use a few coins or someone with a steady hand. Well, at least thank you for your time. And the food. I appreciate that too. Alright. Let's talk to the innkeeper. Get ourselves a room first. Well, I've got 5 coins. Even though the counter stands outdoors, it's not rotten or dirty, and you guess like the other furniture, it's brought inside every night. Eric's approaches you with a smile and leans on the surface with his fist. He's portly and even taller than his neighbors. He's got freckles, short gray hair, and an elegant beard. His long woolen orange tunic has a decorative cut right beneath the neck, and loose braids at the edge. "How can I help you, traveler?" His accent is heavy, nothing like his wife's. He stomps with a heavy boot and looks around, as if he's just waiting to get back to his other tasks. His fingers are still dirty from weeding in the garden. Can I just mention for a brief moment how much I like the writing? It's so well done. It's the little details that add to it. Do you have any food rations I could buy? I keep them in the hall. Smoked mutton, a snack of dried fruits, nuts, biscuits. We eat fresh here and pay with work. Coins are not worth much. When he thinks, his lips move as well. Let's say 1 ring for enough food to fill you for 2 days. In Hollowin, that kind of price would buy you 3, even 4 times as much as food. 1 ring. If you're in a mood for spending, I have something special. Just give me a minute. He goes upstairs and returns with a small wooden box and a hand-long leather sheath. It's a teeth set. You're afraid of what he's going to show you, but when he opens the box, you realize he meant teeth cleaning. See? He points at 3 different compartments. Salt, cloves, and mints. You mix whatever you want here. The 4th holds only a small pestle, made of polished stone. In here I've twigs you need. They'll last for months. Seeing you're not convinced, he takes a deep breath. Well, we do not let outsiders bathe in our creek. Give me 2 dragons and I'll ask my kids to get you in shape. You get the tub with soap and rose and oil. Even wash your clothes in water. I'll cook you something nice, as much as you can eat. Alright. 2 coins to get fresh, clean clothing. Yeah, fuck. I'll do that. Bath and a dinner, teeth cleaning set, and food rations. I've got 5 coins. I'll buy some food rations, and then bath and a dinner. Alright, so now I'm down to 2 coins, but I've got extra food rations. You don't keep track of time. Easing your soul with warm water and whiffs of oils, you're served baked artichokes with a weird but tasty roasted lizard and a few slices of cheese. And while the youngsters wash your clothes in the streams, after an hour you return to Eric's. Alright, and a room. Sure thing, he nods. My kids keep it cleaner than you'd find in the city. Just tell me when you're ready. You know. Oh my god, full nourishment? That's, Alright, it was worth the money to spend. Alright, you got any rumors to share? Rumors? Not really. I had my own things to worry about. Neighbors keep their own company. But, better for everyone to seek help from my wife, or this force, because I'm not in a mug of ale. So, no rumors, but you've heard about someone who may need my help. You say as we expect travelers to get here any day now. I'll ask around. Come tomorrow. Okay, I will come tomorrow. Alright, any guests recently? I do not know. He scratches his beard. There was one vagabond, but he was not here for long. And he did not do much. A timid fellow, talks loudly, but is afraid of everything, especially the guards. His face is touched by flames. Has a big ballista. He says this word with a strange accent, smirking. And a large bird as his beast of burden. I do not know what to say. He shrugs. He went south, and is most likely gone. Alright, well thank you. Alright, what about Akios? I still have 2 more coins. Let's see what he has. The man behind the counter is inspecting a sack of white flour, mumbling to himself and occasionally cursing. The other locals walk away, giving you space to talk trade in peace. Weevils! He points a little dark blue insect that's trying to flee. Shit me fire! 'Twas ground a few days ago. The pie's for us tomorrow, it looks like. He puts the sack on the ground. I'll take care of it later. A road warden, eh? Haven't a man cared enough to see you, and kids are lining up to look at your horse. Strangers are like ghosts of them now. He's wearing a simple brown robe with no hood, a rope instead of a belt, a modest trim of green thread. It barely reaches below his knees, revealing his sandals and crude pants made of linen. At the same time, it's way too large for him, hangs from him like a bag. He looks like a poor vendor from Holloman. He stands sideways to you with his legs crossed, leaning on the counter with one hand, keeping the other one on his hip. He's around 40, short and a bit greasy, with a humble beard. Well, I'll be friendly. Nothing wrong being friendly to a merchant. You're a trader, I assume. I guess we'll see each other often. For you, a trader. For my neighbors, the treasure. Name's Akios. Everyone brings here what they have in abundance, and I either sell it to travelers or divide it among the workers, builders, artisans. These things here are now mine. He runs his eyes over the crates and barrels. But I can show you our wares if you want. But do not ask me for better prices just because you're a traveler. I need to explain myself for every deal I make, or Thias will laugh at me all the way to the pyre. Alright. Is there anything I can get? Ah, damn it. I thought I could sell him something. Alright, what do you have to sell? 'Tis hard to say, aye? What do travelers need? He clears his throat and turns away to have a look at his store. While some of the crates and barrels are empty, they carry an assortment of odds and ends. Tools made of wood and stone, pots, mugs, seeds, vegetables, and fabric. It takes him a few minutes to look through the wares. He puts 3 packages on the countertop. As he unwraps the first one, you recognize it by what it is by shape alone. Tell me this is a beauty. He chuckles and lets you hold the shiny battle axe. The haft is long, but the head is light. I know what you're thinking. Your eyes say everything. He praises the weapon loudly, but you barely listen to him. You see your reflection in the unused blade, as sharp as they get. You're not a smith, but you see not a spot of rust. When you take a swing, it takes hardly any effort. The leather straps holding the pieces together are just a decoration, and the handle is as smooth as glass and fits perfectly in your hand. The man chuckles. You like it, aye? Now, I doubt you can afford it, but do not worry. That's not all I have. Alright, what else he got? His long fingers tap against the parchment windows of a lantern. Ooh! A lantern! Its frame is cheap, made of oak. 'Tis glued and is quiet, he says, while shaking it in the air. Not as fancy as the iron ones with oil, but you can carry it in caves without luring all the corpse eaters of goblins. Perfect for a traveler. Just take a look. Inside the lantern, you find a place for a candle. Not a great match for people living in wooden houses. Hide and glue are easy to make, but I will not ask more than 4 rings. I fucking knew it. I've only 2. The last sack is as wide as a saddle, and 3 hands tall. It contains a whole bunch of undyed linen sheets. We usually keep them for traders, but we could use a few dragon rings. And who knows if there's ever going to be a next cavern. He gives you a long look. Interested? Depends on what you want for it. Jesus Christ! I really want this. I'll be back for that. I want that lantern. Sorry. We're not getting any younger here. What can you tell me about Astarion? That ever thought he was here. That ever thought he was here more than once. But he did not leave much behind, smelly order. He looks around and spits on the ground. At least he bought a blade for me. Do you remember what the blade was? Sure. 'Twas a special one, a sickle sword, with a tip wider than 'twas the grip. Long as from the fingertips to shoulder. Not a sword, not a knife. Single-edged. Bought his own steel to melt for it. And what was it good for? Fencing? Or for cutting bushes, creepers, roots. It will not fell a tree, but 'tis a fine tool. He nods to a passerby, but his smile disappears as quickly as it had shown up. Pathfinders use it. My pa used to have one as well. They chopped nuts with it. Nuts and mufflins. Okay, so he took it in the wilderness. He shrugs. Pretty much anywhere. There are hills from here to the coast, and bogs in the north. And the heart from the woods. Cannot help you with it. Alright. Anything I can help you with? I mean, I still got an hour and 15 before dusk. Know what? There's something urgent. I need medication for my daughter. Not that she's hurt or anything. He raises his open palms as if to show he's not holding a knife. She's a teen. Wants to start hunting in the woods. I cannot teach her much, but I'd sleep better with her having a healing potion. You have. He hesitates. Almost 9 days. Bring me the potion before the last dusk, and I'll pay you 5 dragon rings. 9 days to produce a potion. Okay. And where can I find one? I can think of 2 places. The safer bet is behind old Pagos on the mountain of the crazy monks. Crazy and boring. More boring than a mufflin. But they often brew with Numa. You can also head south, east of the crossroads behind the Pelt of the North. I've never been there myself, but you find a dome in there, as old as a city. In this, he reaches for his clinking pouch and pulls out a massive iron key. He's meant to open some secret passage there. Alright. Well, how do you know about this secret? From a merchant. She's from the south of Hag Hills. I was meant to pass the key to a friend, but he never showed up. Alright, and that elixir is going to cost more than 5. Well now, this all I can pay. He spreads his arms. I do not sculpt, you stupid. The dragons I get here belong to the village. 5 is fair in pay. I'll even mention it to all the neighbors how helpful you are. He takes a deep breath and adjusts his robe, still sweating. You fuck. Fine. Alright, well, she didn't want to take the stall then. Nah, but that's fine. She hates me. 'Tis better for her to take after her mother. Wait, she hates you? His low voice sounds like grunting. Since you have to know, our laws make me admit I was a wife beater. And by my own deeds, I lost my family. My daughter has a new father now. And I'm not allowed to ever marry again. As he starts to speak faster, he also wags his finger at you. But I never touch my girl. Keeping her safe is the right thing to do. But even if it not makes things right. Okay, and the key, you've been keeping it at your side ever since? I kept it with me trinkets and coins. That's all. We're planning to go there for years, but this one of those things you talk about and do it. His brief laughter turns into a cough. Fine. I'll look for it. Good. Anything else? No, that's about it. Alright. Is there anything else I can do in the meanwhile? Let's talk to the tailor. I still got about an hour before dusk. You follow the guard's direction and reach the whitewashed building standing on the western bank, next to a small garden of flowers and herbs. It's well kept and clean, with a plain, beaten front yard in parts covered with sand. Through the open windows you catch a glimpse of the furniture, made of smooth, almost shiny wood with hints of dark cherry-like red, decorated with carvings of plants. A woman in her 40s is sitting on a wooden bench. The table is covered with fabrics, threads, and needles made of bone and iron. She's sewing a long sleeve to what's going to become a blue tunic. Her movements are quick and confident. Her brown, wavy, shoulder-length hair is tied into a wreath-like braid. But other than that, her clothes are simple and inconspicuous. She doesn't have a left leg, but you don't notice any cane. You observe for a few moments until, without sparing you with so much a glance, she encourages you to speak with a grunt. Huh. Alright, well, my gambitson needs a little work. You take it off and point at the tears. Ah. The woman follows your finger patiently.
Here's my price. For 2 dragon rings. I'll patch it up in half an hour. If it was in worse shape.
No, that's a shitty voice.
Here's my price. For 2 dragon rings, I'll patch it up in half an hour. If it was in worse shape, I'd ask for more time. And more rings. To truly get it strong for longer, it need to be made of better materials, like spider silk.
And tell me about the spider silk.
'Tis the silk made by spiders.
Uh-huh. She's the first one to break the silence.
The large ones, they use it to spin webs. It's stronger than thread, but my neighbors do not walk to the woods no more. 'Tis getting harder and harder to get any silk.
Alright, well, they're a bit high.
Aye.
As high as my ma's worth. Well, let me think about it. For a single... I mean, I still have half a gambitson. I'm good. Alright. And a local priest. Let's see what they have. I still got about an hour 15. You head south of the dead tree in the main square. Before you get to the second thatched building, a large man stands up from a bench and gets in your way. He's closer to 50. Taller than most you've seen in your life. Broad-shouldered, his hair and short beard are brown, matching his elegant woolen robe. A thick club is attached to his right wrist with a leather strap. He left his sandals by his sitting spot.
Many want to speak with our guides and teachers.
He speaks with a solemn, strong voice.
But you're not welcome here. Turn back, stranger.
I don't want any trouble. He shrugs.
Travelers bring their problems onto others. That well means nothing.
Well, why are you telling me to turn back?
You can.
He swings his polished, heavy weapon.
You're from the outside, and you cannot be trusted. The boars and slaves of the United Church would crush us. If they had a chance before we allow you to spy on us, but we need to be sure 'tis worth it.
I'm not a spy.
I don't believe you.
Well, I'm your Roadwarden. Are you sure no soul here needs my assistant? His harsh look softens.
We can handle ourselves. That changes, Elpis will summon you.
Alright then. Well, shit. Go back to the main square. Alright. Yeah, I'll say it's a bit late. I think, for now, we'll get some sleep. We've managed to get some vitality. Well, a lot of nourishment. Well, that's fine. I can handle the Molfen pet. There's a lot of noise outside, and you can sense a heavy, unpleasant smell coming from the cauldron. At least the fur is fluffy, and you can cover yourself with your blanket. You know what? I'll take it. I'll sleep in a room. Your first sleep ends, but your usual 1 hour break is instantly disrupted by noise. You stand up, walk to the window, and see the reason for the commotion. A group of workers is just outside the inn, drinking and laughing. Eric's the innkeeper is among them. You could join so, but if you do so, you won't get a good sleep tonight. And after such a long day, you may end up exhausted. Well, I can handle it. You know what? Let's have a separate save, just in case. Fuck. You know what? Nah. Yeah, that's fine. I'll just rest. During your time in Hollowin, you learned how to ignore drunken crowds. You can relax and return to your routine. I sharpen my blade and go back to sleep. It's better to get a full rest and be clean. You spend the night in peace, in a clean bed with a tightly shut window and a warm blanket. In the morning, you find a stool placed by your bed, covered with 2 boiled eggs, a cup of buttermilk, and some muffin offals. Once you get dressed and go downstairs, a young boy who's covered in mud and speaks unusually loud and enthusiastically mentions that Rika, if you're in the morning, you can spend the entire day on resting. Oh, I'm good. I need to get moving. It's already day 2. Mention that Rika's already been brushed and watered. Oh, you're not, but he runs outside without noticing it. The innkeeper is sitting near the door, from time to time carrying out another bowl, either stew or gruel. Thias is nowhere to be seen. All right. Well, I have no money. I am broke now. I do have that goblin spear and a simple arrow. Okay. Equipment, not much. But at least on the good news, I have 3 out of 4 vitality. You know, I'm clean, tiny. I have full nourishment and full pneuma. Let's see if we can get some work. An edge of the local fields was destroyed by some beast. You'll stay in the saddle, helping the guards and workers oversee the area while they're going to place a new fence. This task will take about half a day and may get dangerous. For a single coin, that's it? Ah! I'm a little dirty. $3 hours. Okay, that's not bad. Well, no sense in waiting around. Let's see what kind of quest we have. Yeah, it's the archive. We want to go to the journal. Okay, so he mentioned there's a secret chamber of dolmen somewhere on the southern road, which he mentioned was nearby that one inn. Maybe I could buy a flask or 2 from the monks who live near Old Pagos. For right now, it's time to travel. Let's quick save. Now we have options. Howler's Dell is... We never really explored this area, so that's where we're going to make our way today. You slow down. Among the shrubs, a small pack of dragonlings is feasting on the carcass of a gray auric. One of them, with red feathers on its arm, straightens up and gives you a curious glance. Its head tilts left and right, forward and back. It screeches at you but doesn't move forward and returns to its meal. You wonder what would happen if you were on foot. Would they let you be, satisfied with their prey, or run after you? But if so, for what reason? For now, you have enough space to move forward and stay safe. The powerful jaws break the monster's bone loudly, then bite them and swallow chunks of meat. Well, no need to tempt fate.